we're going to talk about Sony, Microsoft, and Call of Duty, Activision, Blizzard, all that stuff. If you somehow didn't know, Activision, or Activision Blizzard, as they're called, is a very large video game maker. They make a game that you've probably heard of called Call of Duty. And it's for lack of a better, it's the biggest damn video game on Earth, and it has been for the better part of a decade, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down as far as sales and stuff, really. Microsoft, in an unprecedented move, is buying. They're acquiring Activision Blizzard. And that went live, I think they said something about that at the end of last year or mid last year, something like that. So they're
all the FTC stuff.
They're going through, and we talked about some of their stuff, how that's starting to come together. A big, huge merger, or it's not a merger, but a big, huge acquisition like this takes time, and it's got to go through regulatory commissions and all that, which is where this comes into play. And I think we did a story a few episodes back where a lot of that stuff is finally starting to tie up, and the FTC is just about done, and the UK version of that is just about, and it's all looking good. I mean, I don't think they would have even announced this if they had any doubts it was going to happen. I still think it's going to happen, but this is more about another company, their main rival, Sony, and what they think about it, and how it's not so much a good look, because in Brazil's regulatory body, which I'm not sure what the name of it is, pretty much their FTC, is currently investigating Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Part of that process entails asking several massive third-party companies, including Warner Brothers, Amazon, Ubisoft, Bandai Namco, Riot Games, Sony, and many others about the purchase. So they put out a questionnaire to them, and they said, what do you think about it? How do you think it affects the industry? Is it good? Is it bad? Blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Now, just about everybody, because you can read this whole thing, it is in Portuguese, so you'd have to translate it, but there's plenty of sites that have translated it, and there's been tons of people that have been translating them themselves because they're like, I don't want any words to be off. I want to make sure we're getting this whole story. The quotes I got kind of line up with pretty much what everybody else has been saying, so I feel like these are more or less 100%. Now, I do want to throw out there, this is a translation, so I'm taking it on good faith in what I've heard from everybody that this is all fairly accurate. I think the basic gist is still there. So Sony pretty much, how do I put this lightly? They come across sounding like a little whiny bitch. Like real bad. And this is not me hating on Sony and Microsoft dick ride or anything. This is, everybody's pretty much saying it. They sound like a little bitch. And they sound real whiny and real entitled. I don't think we have time to go over every single comment they made because they had a lot to say. Everybody else, all these other guys, Amazon, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers, all of them, they all were pretty much like, whatever, it's fine. We don't care. Yeah, sure, go for it. Some of them, Ubisoft, which is another publisher, went as far as to saying, no, we do not think that this... They went into more detail, pretty much saying we don't think this deal's a bad thing. We think that it's cool. Their Call of Duty is not, because Call of Duty was the big main. It was on the tip of everybody's tongue. That's the thing that everybody's talked about. They own a lot of properties, by the way, but Call of Duty it's the biggest one in the world. So they were saying that we don't think that them owning Call of Duty is going to destroy the industry or anything like that, put them in some weird position. But so these questions were asked, and here are some of the answers that Sony gave. It's a little lengthy, like I said. I'm going to skip around just a little bit and give everybody an idea of where they're coming from. According to it, and this is in Sony's words, according to a 2019 oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I keep stopping it. They were made well aware that all of this was going to be public. So they said this shit knowing that it would be out to the public, or they should have at least. They should have known that the public would be able to see this. According to a 2019 study, the importance of Call of Duty to entertainment in general is indescribable, the company said. The brand was the only video game IP to break into the top 10 of all entertainment brands among fans, joining powerhouses such as Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and The Lord of the Rings. Call of Duty is so popular that it influences users' choice of console and its community of loyal users is entrenched enough that even if a competitor had the budget to develop a similar product, it would not be able to rival it. Each annual Call of Duty release takes around 3 to 5 years to develop, as Activision releases one Call of Duty game per year. This equates to an annual investment of hundreds of millions of dollars. Approximately 1,200 people work on each version, and another 1,500 are involved in publishing and distribution. Thus, Call of Duty alone has more developers than most game companies employ across the entire development portfolio, including AAA studios. No other developer can devote the same level of resources and expertise in game development. Even if they could do that, Call of Duty is overly entrenched so that no rival, no matter how relevant they are, can catch up. I want to, we're almost done, but I want to reiterate, these words are all from Sony. It is synonymous with first-person shooter games and essentially defines that category. It said, or they said, this is also demonstrated by player engagement on social media. Call of Duty has over 24 million followers on Facebook versus 7 million for Battlefield, and over 12 million followers on Instagram versus 2 million for Battlefield. Even in weaker years like 2021, Call of Duty still managed to outperform most other games by a considerable margin. Call of Duty Vanguard 2021, for example, was widely regarded as weaker than previous years' titles, but was still one of the best-selling games of 2021. In other words, even in a bad year, players remain loyal to the brand and continue to buy the game. Okay, so that's just some snippets of what they had to say. They are more or less, the entire thing is them going back and forth saying, no, this merger shouldn't or this acquisition shouldn't happen, because if Microsoft has them, it's going to influence people to buy their console.
Yeah.
Even though Microsoft has said, hey, we're going to keep Call of Duty, not all of Activision stuff, but they said, we're buying them, but we're going to keep Call of Duty on other platforms. Now, there's a lot of people speculating what does that mean specifically, because they didn't say every Call of Duty that comes out we're going to keep on there. They said we're going to keep Call of Duty on there. Some people have gone as far as to say, hey, they're going to keep something like Warzone, which is their, I don't think it's free to play, but it's their multiplayer, like seasonal Fortnite-esque battle royale Call of Duty. They'll keep that on there, and they'll put all the yearly games exclusive and then be like, well, it's on there, which they could do that. I mean, that's their call, but it sounds like Microsoft is trying to play ball, that they're like, okay, we'll continue to keep Call of Duty will be a thing on your console. However, it comes into Game Pass, because they did talk about Game Pass a lot too. Since Microsoft will own Activision, that means all their products, day and date when they come out, will be on Game Pass for free. If you have a subscription to Game Pass, $10 a month, 10 to 15, depending on which one you have, you get the new Call of Duty for free. So then, that does influence. I mean, if you've got a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series console, and you're like, Call of Duty's coming out, I'm a Game Pass owner. I mean, over here, I just hit a button. I don't have to pay anything. Over here, I got to pay $70 because that's how much Sony charges for games. Which most people are going to go with that one. That makes sense. You know, any like exclusive deals, they're no longer going to be with Sony because they've kind of thrived on that with Call of Duty for a while. Yeah, they're going to lose all that. But they'll still have the game. And they're sitting here whining like some little bitches, talking about how it's not fair because since they own this now, it could influence people's buying decisions. No fucking shit. That's why anybody buys these goddamn companies, because they want to influence people to buy their fucking product. That is a stupid as hell comment right there. That's why you just bought Bungie. They just bought fucking Bungie, and that's why you buy anybody. That's why you bought, what is it, Insomniac, who makes Spider-Man and all that. That's why you buy fucking Spider-Man. You want to entice people to come to your platform. That's why you have exclusives like fucking Last of Us and shit like that, because you want people to come over to your console because it's the only fucking place they can play it. You have no problem doing that with exclusive titles. You will exclude. They pay money to companies like Square so that Final Fantasy does not show, and that's multi-platform, but it doesn't show up. The remake of 7 won't show up on other consoles. You pay them all this money for exclusivity deals, and that's okay. But since they're doing essentially the same thing, they're paying money to get something on their console, which won't even be fucking exclusive, but whatever. Now it's a problem because somebody else is doing it? What the fuck? Pull your head out of your ass. They also went on to talk about, this is paraphrasing, that basically it's unfair that Microsoft will have Call of Duty, because they kept on centering on Call of Duty, on Game Pass, because Game Pass is so much bigger than their offering, and it would take them, they said, it will take us literally years and years and years to catch up to the level where Game Pass is. No shit! They fucking started the shit in 2016 or 17. They didn't become the Game Pass they are yesterday. I mean, that's on you. People have been saying, Sony, do something. And what you did was you gave whatever it is you're doing now, which is fine. I mean, I hear the service is decent. It's good. It's still not up to that same level with like the exclusive, like the day ones and all that. But it's a solid service. But no, you're not going to be up to the level of what Game Pass is. You're not going to have the same install base because they've been cultivating this whole thing for fucking years while people talk shit about how Game Pass is destroying this and that and blah, blah, blah. Now it's a fucking problem. Now you're like, oh shit, they were onto something. And they're about to fucking decimate, just fuck us in the ass with this game that everybody wants to play every year, and it's going to be more or less free on their console, and we got nothing to combat that. That
PlayStation has plenty of shit to combat that. The Xbox doesn't have anything new coming out this year. PlayStation has God of War and I don't know, something else I'm sure coming out.
That's really about it. As far as like big things, both of them, neither of them had shit, but yeah, they got God of War. Yeah, be happy for you got. Hey, can Xbox start saying it's unfair that you have God of War only on your console, and we're afraid that God of War Ragnarok is going to influence people to buy a PlayStation instead of an Xbox? No shit, that's the idea. I don't.
Microsoft has the right wording. They have Game Pass. That's all you need is Game Pass. Like that's why they have Game Pass. PlayStation's like, we took forever just to get online services on our PlayStation. And Xbox is like, we had online services back in the original Xbox. It's like Sony's got their head up their ass. They had a good console cycle with PS4. Now they're back doing the same shit they did the PS3, and it's hurting them, and they feel like that spoiled child that doesn't get what he wants. And Microsoft is going to do what Microsoft does, and if Call of Duty shows up on PlayStation, it shows up on PlayStation. And if it doesn't, hey, that's why they spend $40 billion or something.
69 point something billion dollars, the biggest entertainment acquisition in history. And I mean, this is, as I read through it and like spoke it aloud, I'm like, this is a stupid fucking story, but everybody's talking about it. I mean, it's out there because it's like and it's not a good look. Even fans of PlayStation are saying, like the hardcore fans, they're like, I mean, of course they're saying, no, it shouldn't go through. I mean, they were going to the point to where a little while back, they were like tweeting shit at President Biden saying, block this acquisition. Are you fucking kidding me? Get the fuck over yourself. It's a video game console. But whatever. They just come across as sounding weak, and I don't think Sony's weak. I mean, yes, Microsoft is quickly catching up with their Xbox. Who knows how this generation works out? I don't think either of them is going to end up in the end just like decimating the other. This is going to be a much closer generation than last generation.
Let's get the PS5 first before we get fucking issues with game problems. Like, you still can't find a PS5 without selling your firstborn and your mother and drawing blood for the gods of ISIS and stuff like that. It's like, give us a console first and then we'll worry about the games.
Yeah. Or I mean, now they're possibly, I know we talked about it and it's nothing for sure, but it could raise in price too. I mean, not to add salt to, they're just making a lot of fucking mistakes. They're not looking good. They keep on doing all this stuff in this generation because they had a really solid generation last year. They had like a PS2-esque solid generation, and now this generation, it's like they came out of the PS2 generation with their heads so far up their fucking asses. All they're doing is smelling their own shit, and they're just like, it smells great in here, and like they say what they're just doing all these things that their fan base is just like. What is that? They keep on doing these anti-consumer moves, and all these companies are here to make money. I get that. I don't think Microsoft's just sitting there every day thinking about me, saying Jacob Anders wants it. But I mean, they are making better moves than than PlayStation is, and that is why they're catching up. Because PlayStation had a hell of a lead coming into this generation. I mean, Microsoft had mind share for sure, but PlayStation was kicking ass. But the past few months, Xbox has been the number one selling one. They've been catching up, and they are not even slowly, quickly closing that gap. And they're saying that within the next few months, they could be neck and neck. And that'll be a really interesting generation. But man, PlayStation, you gotta fucking stop making some of these dumbass decisions. And when I say decisions, yes, this was a decision for somebody to say all this shit. Because it goes further. Like I said, this is snippets. There's other things. They just sound like a whiny bitch. They sound weak. It just not a good look. Not a good look at all. And I mean, you kept on. They just talked so much. And where was the person sitting there saying, "Hey, shut the fuck up. Just stop speaking right now." You know, I don't know. I don't know what person. It just said Sony, and it didn't say specifically what person said these things or put them down. But when you have every other game or gaming company out there sitting there saying, "Yeah, it's fine, whatever," and then their main competitor, come in whining and bitching, and then going on to talk about how it's not fair that their Game Pass service is bigger than ours. We just started ours, and it didn't immediately take off just like theirs. I don't know.
When they were puttering and muttering for years while Xbox was building their brand and saying, "Hey, you can play it anywhere," PlayStation's like, "No, that's mine. I'm going to keep mine over here. I'm not going to let anybody else play it." And Xbox is like, "Hey, our dick is swinging everywhere. Fuck you people. We're going to give you everything you want."
Yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait for what's that game that came out exclusively to PlayStation last year that Bethesda put out?
Tokyo.
Well, no, that one too. But there's the one where Deathloop. Yeah, that should be
and
like
Ghostwire
next
Tokyo.
month. Yeah, Deathloop I think should be next month, or next month or the month after on Game Pass. So I'll play it when it comes to Game Pass.
Something like that. So, they're both coming relatively soon. Deathloop is real soon. Yeah, like you said. But they're both coming, and then after that, that's it for Bethesda on there. But I just think that this is not, and it's not even that it's a good look. The fact that they said this, kept saying it, and kept pushing it. I know that when your competitor is making a big move like this, of course they don't want them to own Activision. I get it.
Like it could be anything. Like, you know, someone building a better car or buying a better car, or somebody having this. Of course, you might be a little jealous, but it's like you have to come to the realization that one, Xbox is owned by Microsoft, so they have a little bit more money than Sony does. But it's like maybe you need to chill out and try and build a better system and not have PlayStation Now, which is god awful. I tried PlayStation Now, and you have to stream that shit. And it was bad. It was real bad.
That's the thing. A lot of people are saying is when they were bitching about their service, then work on it. You clearly have a lot of people, a lot of talented people over there in your business. Work on the shit. That's what Microsoft did. I mean, they say what you will about Game Pass. They worked on it. They pushed it. They said, "This is the future. We're doing this thing," and the Sony elitists and the toxic fanboys talked shit about it. They just kept on. They still do. Just talking shit about it. Hey, it paid off. It's working out for them. That was a good move on their behalf. It's really working out for them. And then Sony kept on saying pretty much, we see no reason to do that. Until this year, they decided to fucking do it. I mean, it's somewhat of a half measure in comparison, but I mean, I heard the service now it's fine. It's solid enough. It's not bad if you have it's not a system seller. Game Pass is kind of a system seller, but PlayStation, whatever they call it now, it's Now or Plus or whatever it is. I know they took some stuff and put it together. Their Game Pass, it's not as good, but it has its pluses and minuses. It's a solid enough service, but it's not. You got to refine that shit. Do it over time. That's what happens. Put your work into that. Also, on the whole thing of them saying, pretty much they were saying that, well, it's not fair. They're going to have Call of Duty and nobody else can they pretty much said, we do not have the capability of making something to compete with Call of Duty. Why don't you? Call of Duty, what was the big player before Call of Duty? You had Halo, you had
Medal of Honor.
Yeah, well, I guess, Medal of Honor was probably a little bit closer, but first person, there were other Big Daddy games out there prior to Call of Duty. Call of Duty didn't come out of nowhere. People made it. Infinity Ward got out there and they made it. They made a few and it slowly got big and then it blew up with Modern Warfare. Make your own fucking Modern Warfare. I mean, some would complain that their current studios have issues with making those types of games. They're good with like the third person, over the shoulder stealth action kind of thing. That's their deal. You own fucking Destiny. I mean, you own Destiny. You own fucking Bungie. I mean, they're really good at that. Shit. And Destiny's really fucking profitable. Ain't nobody bitching to you about that. It's like, not fair that you own Destiny now. Fuck off. You want to if you want a game that competes with fucking Call of Duty, then fucking make one. Hire some motherfuckers, make a studio, and make a goddamn game. Have faith in your people. If I worked for Sony, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, so what you're saying is we're not worth it. I mean, you have zero faith in us because you publicly said this. And we know that they publicly say there's things behind the scenes they would never say publicly. You publicly put out there that, hey, we don't think that our people are up to it. That's crazy, man. Even if you don't think they are, you don't fucking throw that shit out there. That's demoralizing, in my opinion, and it makes you look like you just know. But, I mean, it ties into the way I feel about this generation. It is like you mentioned the PS3 generation. I think it is. They came off the PS4 generation was easy for them. They did great things. I'm not saying that. But they're riding off of that. Just like they were with the PS2. They did a great job with the PS2. PS3 came around, and they had their head up their asses and just made a lot of dumbass mistakes. And for the most part, they got decimated. They pulled through in the end, just barely, but they got beat the fuck up. PS4 came about. They killed it. They did all the right moves, but now I feel like they got their head in there. They're just riding out their mind share, but that only goes so far. It'll take them a long way, but I mean, it only goes so far. You got to continuously add to that. And I think Microsoft figured that out because they had their head up their ass after the 360. They came out big dick swinging like, yeah, we had the 360. Here's the Xbox One. Blah. And like people were like, no, and that backfired on them real bad. And not saying the PS5 is that, but I mean, they're making a lot of dumb, just bad moves, man. Bad fucking moves. And this is one of them. I mean, if you're interested in this kind of thing, go read. There's so much stuff they put. Stuff that just, as you're reading it, you're like, is this really their words? You put this out there? Jesus. Sounds bad. Companies don't do this. I'm not saying people don't feel this way, but companies do not put out public announcements like this. It makes you look just bad. Real bad. And whiny.
Yeah.
Get the fuck over yourselves. But that's my lighthearted comments on the whole subject. I hate this is just fucking stupid. I want them both to be competitive with each other, and I don't think that either of them is going to decimate the other by the end of this generation or anything like that. I think the end of this generation is going to be very neck and neck. Next generation is going to be real interesting to see how that, how it starts up and what they do.